We're talking to Pastor Kevin Walker, and the topic is African Americans in public education. He has already given us some information about his background and some of his experiences, but now he's talking about some of the real things in terms of the ability of children to deal with the education situation, and especially African American children. What do you think in terms of dealing with African American children, Pastor Walker?
You know, Dr. Haney, I think there's a mindset, I believe, that exists within the African American community when it comes to education. I think when slavery ended and Reconstruction was taking place, and because of the fact that it was illegal against the law for a black man or a black person to read or anything like that, then when we got the ability to be able to learn, then people sought out. People saw that they had a hunger, they had a desire to be taught, to be educated. Somewhere down the line, we lost that desire. I don't know what happened. I don't know if you can. I think it's a balance between the psyche, I guess, in the among the African American people or community, and also within the school system itself, in terms of not fulfilling their roles in so many ways to teach us. Because personally, when a child goes to school, a child actually goes because, okay, our parents told us you're going to go to school and you're going there to learn. Okay. So if I'm going to school to learn, Dr. Haney, then I'm expecting to be taught. And if my behavior causes me to be sent to timeout or in-school suspension and I'm not being taught, then I feel like at that particular point, the school system is not serving me, and it's actually doing me an injustice rather than trying to discover, wait a minute, what's really going on here? What's happening with this individual? And I'm not saying that, you know, that we're African Americans and we're at this disadvantage, because that would not be true. That would be a very understatement, because we've got great achievers within our community. A lot of these things that we're enjoying today have been invented by African Americans of years gone by. So to say, you know, that to look at, say, well, we need to be special privileged. No, we don't need to be special privileged. We just need to be taught, you know. And when I come into a schoolroom setting, I'm expecting to be taught. I'm expecting to be treated, you know, like an individual is supposed to be treated. And I don't want to come in the school system. And some things that's happening right now in our school system, Dr. Haney, right now, that's really causing problems. You know, you talk about school bullying, for example, and you talk in terms of the students bullying, one student bullying another student, and nobody really pays attention to that thing until this student gets upset, goes get a gun, come in and shoot up a bunch of folks in the classroom or do something crazy like that. But, you know, but look at the other side. There's some, you could also call this bullying as well when you got situations. Like I say, I'm the co-chair of the Legal Redress Committee at the NAACP, and we get numerous complaints that's actually being handled by the Education Committee chair committee, but we get numerous complaints about how students are being treated in school, basically being bullied in so many words by school teachers, and the lack of proper responding to those issues by the school board.
Proper authorities who might be made aware of perhaps some of the activities in reference to that, some of the things that are happening to children that make them react the way that they react. And, and go on next week.
And then too, you know, here's the thing that's in our society today, Dr. Haney, is when the child comes to school. Now, I don't know the percentages, the stats on all of this, but when you get a child that comes to school and this child is acting out or having difficulty staying in their seats or what have you, whatever the case may be, then the first thing that they want to make happen is let's send this child to the doctor and let's let the doctor diagnose this child as ADHD, put this child on some type of medication, you know, that this child may or may not need. And then now you got a child that you've classified this child as ADHD or whatever they call it, and that's basically placing that particular child once again at a disadvantage. When in a lot of cases, why are we so quick to label this African American child as ADHD? You know, if there's a child that's smart, You know this child is smart. You know you got, well, he's very smart. You know he's very intelligent, but we just can't keep him in the seat. Well, find a way to teach him out of his seat. You know, find a way to teach him out of his seat. If you're telling me he's smart, he's intelligent, and he's capable of learning, then. And the issue that you have with him is, you know, he just can't be still. You know, he just don't want to be still. He's in and out of the seat.
And that's what they need to know, and that's what they need to hear, even if they're not performing up to capacity,
Right.
that somebody believe that they have the ability to learn, that somebody can say that they are smart and that all they have to do is to settle down and accept. I think that is one of the most encouraging things that teachers can do in a classroom situation.
I think it is. And then, you know, you got a situation where a child will act out in school and stuff like that. And then what they do, they take all the children that act out in school and they lump them together in a certain place. Now, how is that going to improve? If you're going to put me in an environment, if I'm acting out and you're going to put me in an environment where everybody's acting out, what am I going to do? I'm going to learn how to act out even more, because I'm going to get this person's experience with acting negativity, with acting out, this other person's negativity with acting out. So now it just enhances what what I already am, rather than taking me and putting me in a positive environment, you know, and finding and discovering a way. In other words, when you take a child and you put a child in a negative environment, in one of these classrooms where everybody's acting out, then you, in essence, what you're doing, you're really throwing the child away. You're really saying there's nothing we can do for you. You know, we put you over here. If you learn, you learn. If you don't, you don't. You know, and then we just leave them to their own devices and stuff like that. And then we want to wonder why this child grows up and commits crime and everything like that. Well, but for one thing, maybe the home is failing him, maybe the school is failing him, and then when people say, well, it goes back to the home, it goes back to the home. The home has a responsibility. You can't deny that. But at the same time, you cannot deny the fact that the school has a responsibility and a role to play in that child's life also, because if you're going to spend time in school yourself to be trained as an educator, then when you go into that arena, you should be educating. And when you find a difficult or challenging situation, you shouldn't run from it in favor of the ones that's easier to teach. You should meet those challenges.
Those are the challenges that make you a teacher.
Absolutely.
And a teacher is supposed to be able to teach even beyond some of the things, some of the challenges that he or she has to meet.
Absolutely.
Is that what we're saying?
That's exactly what we're saying. You know, why would I take on this role? Why would I take on this responsibility? And then when something challenges me in my role, rather than I stepping forward and meeting that challenge, I back off.
You turn around and run.
Yeah, I
in
run.
Real sense. Yeah, very
absolutely.
good. And of course, let's take this short commercial break, and then we'll be able to come back and pick up at this particular point. And we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. To the final segment of the show for today,